Here we are.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, guys.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Early
Since
morning
last night?
history. Yeah.
A lot has changed. A lot has changed.
How are you
You can
feeling?
definitely tell Bob is the one who's married with children out of all the brothers. Like just based on background.
Yeah, I'm downstairs, so I'll try not to wake up everybody.
Or it's just the biggest beard he's ever worn.
No, this is far from the biggest.
Some might say it's a big bad beard.
No,
2000.
I'm not that guy. Although we do have kind of the same coloration.
It's almost
thing
like
going.
Harry Potter. He's got a Nimbus 2000.
That you should go as Jack Murphy for Halloween.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
I'd have to get ripped again.
I just have a T-shirt that says "canceled." You're the canceled version of Jack.
I got a strange feeling that Jack Murphy is not going to be employed for a little while, and he might let himself go between now and Halloween.
Sweet. So that's my boy. Let's start there.
You don't want to go into the fascinations of the JFK assassination theories?
Yeah, I was gonna go there, but I mean,
Oh, you don't want to bore the audience right off the bat. I got you. That's my boy.
I want to get you sober enough to try to talk about what a magic bullet is and not think it's the thing you grind your food up in.
I know exactly what the magic bullet is. It's what Magneto did in X-Men. Which was it? First Class.
No.
And they talk about how he was involved in JFK assassination. Yeah, because he can manipulate metal. He was a deep cover op for the CIA. That's how it happened, man.
So
Stan
Paul,
Lee was my true believer.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the magic bullet for a moment.
Okay.
You and I have both shot guns. You have shot many more firearms than I have.
Hundreds of thousands.
That
of
would be
rounds.
safe to say. I've only shot
Hundreds of
thousands of rounds. And I think we can both agree that bullet that they claim is the magic bullet has never penetrated anything.
Well, I disagree. You can shoot a bullet into a lot of things where it comes out pristine.
Like paper?
Ballistic gel? No, paper fucks bullets up.
I'm talking like a piece of paper. One sheet of paper.
Well, no, but eventually that bullet's going to hit something beyond that sheet of paper. I'm talking about where the bullet would actually stop and you could be able to find the bullet.
Yeah, ballistic gel, clay.
Ballistics gel, coffee beans, surprisingly. Like any bean material, like if you have a big vat of it and shoot a bullet
Sandbags.
into it, doesn't mess up a bullet that bad. Problem is, as I've shot into a lot of living creatures that are filled with blood and bones and muscles, especially if I ever had a bullet that went through, I don't know, 6 bones, that bullet would be royally fucked up.
Yeah, it was a good documentary. I enjoyed it. I don't know how much of it is true as far as the conspiracy theories, but I thought they covered a lot of stuff fairly well. Just enough to make you think that, wow, the government's lying to you a lot more than we even thought.
To piggyback on that, like I said, I think it's very entertaining that the death of JFK has been something that we formed like 3 to 4 different House committees just to investigate. So throughout the years since 1962, 63, in that area.
11/22/63.
Yeah, 11/22.
Great show on Hulu.
Hey, I love that show.
Rest
in peace, James Franco.
We've had 4 different commissions. First being the Warren Commission, and it was stated in public like we're classifying stuff because if it ever got put out to the public, it would make the American government look bad. They legitimately said that, and then we had 3 more committees investigate it, where each time all they did was declassify a few documents at a time. The latest one in the early 90s being the one that declassified the most information to where you could like get unredacted documents and materials on it. But still, there's shit that's, redacted, covered up, and classified. And it's so funny because like people who think government is the lifeblood that will save you, it's not. If there's something usually that goes catastrophically wrong, the government's usually involved.
See also Chernobyl.
It's great.
Well, that was an absolute flimsy mistake that like they didn't need to cover up. All they had to do was come out and warn the world and be like, hey, this is what happened. This is what we're doing to stop. We'll take any help we can. But the Soviet Union, being too fucking proud that would never take help from the rest of the world, tried to cover it up, lie to the rest of the world. And the problem is, when you have a big old fucking nuclear radiated cloud floating around Europe, it affects more than just you.
On the topic of that, because I'm not really familiar with current affairs, and I know with what's going on. Paul, can you explain, or do you know, like the situation going on with Ukraine and Russia and all that? And
sure, absolutely.
Okay, because I'm genuinely curious, because Chernobyl did fascinate the hell out of me. And
so Ukraine
and the
used to be part of the former Soviet Union. It was part of the Soviet bloc. When the Soviet Union disbanded and broke up, and Russia created the Russian Federation, Ukraine was not part of Russia, but they were like a subservient of Russia. Russia has one of their 4 main naval bases in the Ukraine. It's actually their Black Fleet, their Black Sea Fleet is based out of Ukraine. And then they have other bases, the 3 other main bases around Russia. Russia's so fucking big, it's ridiculous. Russia takes up 12 times.
And I could be wrong. Isn't that where Pornhub is based out of?
I have no idea. I haven't been on Pornhub in years. There's too many other better sites.
It's almost all the internet is anymore. It's just porn, strictly porn.
The internet is for porn. So anyway,
Avenue Q.
Of course, Ukraine was not part of NATO for obvious reasons, because NATO, one of the reasons they were created was to fight against the Soviet Union, or stand strong against the Soviet Union. But now that's all breaking down. Anyway, Ukraine wants to come in to NATO, and they have been distancing themselves from Russia. Ukraine has the largest deposit of natural gas in the world, and Russia gets their natural gas directly from the Ukraine. Natural gas is hugely important in the world, in case you guys didn't know that. And as Ukraine is making steps to try to eventually get into NATO one day, they're distancing themselves from Russia. Putin, not being happy that their number one supplier of natural gas and the home of their Black Sea Fleet is trying to separate from the Russian Federation to get in bed with the U.S. and NATO, is now defending what he looks at as rightfully his. The thing is, like, I think there's pacts involved where, like, Ukraine is tied to Russia, but like it gets super confusing and complicated. But the long and short of it is, Ukraine wants to be a bigger player on the world stage and separate themselves from their big brother, and the big brother saying, "Nah, bitch, you're with me." And the U.S. intervened. By U.S., I mean our wonderful president, who is totally cognizant and fit, flat out told Putin, "Hey there, guy, you and Corn Pop better leave Ukraine alone, or we'll think about doing stuff that you're probably not going to like." And Vladimir Putin heard that message and said, "Uh-huh. Okay, I'm going to put 120,000 troops on the Ukraine border." And then our leader was like, "Hey, you better not cross the Ukraine border with those 120,000 troops, or we're going to seriously think about doing stuff." And then Vladimir Putin said, "Okay." And then he crossed the border. And everybody's shit scared that there's going to be a massive Russian invasion into Ukraine, which there's probably going to be. And Russia's probably going to annex Ukraine, is the way it's looking like. But don't worry, because our dear leader is wagging his finger at Vladimir Putin saying, "Hey, if you move one more inch, we're going to keep thinking about doing stuff to you." It's kind of like in World War II, when Hitler was slowly taking over Europe, and the appeasement, where like France and UK were like, "Hey, Hitler, we'll let you have Poland, but you better not invade another country." And then, he invades like Holland, and it's like, okay. You can have Poland and Holland, but you better not invade another country. And then, he takes France. And then the UK's like, "Hey, France is kind of a big deal. That's upsetting. But leave us alone." And then the Battle of Britain starts. And meanwhile, the US is saying, "Wait, you want to buy guns? Sure, we'll sell to you. Wait, you want to buy guns? Sure, we'll sell to you." And then Pearl Harbor happens, and then we went, Oh no, you didn't.
We're in a crazy spot right now where I'm actually starting to miss the days of George W. Bush, man, when artists and punk rock bands were putting out albums. So this president needs to be stopped. Like, I genuinely miss those days compared to now, man. It is batshit crazy how things are right now.
I'd say it's been crazy for at least 8 years now.
Hey, what's up, Matt?
Our brother from another mother.
How you doing, Mr. Ammons?
So yeah, that's pretty much the whole Russia, Ukraine, U.S.
Okay.
thing going on right now. It's in a right now. Putin's like waiting to take 2 more steps forward to hear that there might be some stuff done to him if he keeps going forward. At least last time I had updates, that's what it was.
Is China more of a position to overtake the rest of the globe than Russia, or is Russia kind of neck and neck?
Well,
Are you meaning by number of troops, or
like superpower, like the way I keep seeing documentaries and shit like that saying like what China's doing, and they're gaining power, like as far as being ahead of us in all aspects and shit. And
so okay,
I don't understand how any of this works. That's why I guess I'm just asking.
Let's talk about this with just Russia, U.S. and China. Those are the 3 major powers in the world. Military might, there is nobody stronger than the U.S.
Okay.
Like we have the most subs, we have the most ships, we have the most troops, we have the most guns, we have the most aircrafts, blah 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 blah. I would say now you have to say who's number 2 in that race. People would dispute this. I would say that Russia is the second biggest military power. People say, well, China have more and their technology is better. The problem is China has never actually practically used their equipment in a wartime setting. Russia has. Russia's actually battle trained, which I would rather take a battle trained person over somebody who's got the coolest new gun and the coolest new toys who doesn't know how to really use them. Does that make sense?
Like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Time Cop versus
like Russia. China has a bigger navy. Russia has a way more capable navy. Like their navy, like Hunt for Red October. You know what I mean? They've been doing this for decades and decades and decades and shit. Like they have a very capable navy. Now you have to talk about, okay, financially, who's the strongest? Well, I guess you'd have to still say the U.S. is still the financial strongest based on GDP. China's very close second. However, China has more industry and their ability to make money is way stronger than the U.S. The U.S. could collapse. Here's what people don't realize. Because of the Fed, the U.S. financial system could seriously collapse at any point. And I'm not saying that as a conspiracy theorist or a tinfoil hat. Our currency is based on nothing. Our money used to be backed by gold. The old story of Fort Knox is the most secure place. For every dollar that was in circulation, there was gold in Fort Knox to back the dollar up. So your currency never crumbled. Now we have a fiat currency, which means our dollar is backed by nothing. It's backed by the promise that America will be America. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
China has industry to back their money, back their currency. So I would say China is really strong in that contendership. Now, if there was a World War III scenario where China and Russia ever teamed up, that would be the worst case scenario for the U.S.
Okay. So now that we got all that stuff out of the order, go ahead, Bob.
Well, I'm still thinking about the China-Russia team up. I mean, just foot soldiers alone is,
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's like, hey, you're communist? We used to be communist and still kind of are. But
right. We just don't talk about it anymore.
Now we have elections every year that somehow Putin has won for the last 3 decades.
It's kind of like when you're...
Has it been that long?
When you're sleeping with your brother who pretends he's a Marine.
A Marine.
But he's really,
to me, that was the best side plot of that movie.
Oh yeah,
they made an incest side plot that was like endearing.
He just buys that stuff on eBay because he doesn't want his dad to know he's modern jazz.
I like that
special pickle time.
I like that he goes to the Lunella strip club and it's a 24-hour omelet bar.
You've never been to strip clubs that had like different things like that, like a wing bar, a breakfast bar?
I've been to what's the one that's on the way to Gainesville or Tallahassee? Though it's the big one that they promote on billboards.
Mazina?
Cafe Risque. It's a truck driver stop. If you have like a CDL, that you get like 15% off your bill or whatever. And when you walk in, there's like a sex shop to the left, and to the right is like all the tables, and then there's like one little floor, and there's a jukebox. And I had to go to Tallahassee for something, and I'm like, I kept seeing these billboards as a kid when we would take trips for Cafe Risque, next exit, blah blah blah. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to stop in there. It's 24 hours. And it was like 3:30 in the morning when I walked in, and there was 3 really hot, like local college girls dancing. But they were not dancing. They were hanging out because the place was fucking dead. And I sat down, and they gave me a menu, and I ended up ordering a cheeseburger that I didn't eat. And when they asked if I wanted to dance, I said, sure. And they said, all right, we'll go to the jukebox and pick a song. It's like one of those kind of places.
I'll tell you what.
Well, I want to hear what song you picked.
Good.
Oh, I'm sure it was a Nickelback song at that time. Something like that. Something like Vertical Horizon. I was one of those romantic puppy dog phases of my life where I was going to chase a girl.
The only thing I will say is, because I'm kind of a connoisseur, and I have been kicked out of some of the finest stripping establishments throughout the world, that some of the best chicken wings I've ever had in my life were at Spearmint Rhino.
Where does a name like Spearmint Rhino even come from?
Oh, England, basically, here's the rule. If you serve liquor at your place of establishment, all you have to do to name that establishment is name an animal and a color or something else to that effect. But there's always an animal involved.
So
like
weird.
Golden Tiger, Black Bull.
So weird.
The Green Dragon.
Happy Lucky Golden Dragon. What was that from? What was that movie?
No idea.
I gotta Google that shit now.
But I thought the movie was much funnier than I expected it to be.
Didn't I? I told you.
Based off the trailer.
Me and Doug had this conversation 2 days ago because we were talking about like underrated movies and that, and Adam Sandler was brought up. I go, you know what's one of the greatest Adam Sandler movies that nobody ever talks about, and it's made in the last 10 years, is fucking That's My Boy. I was like, that was such an underrated movie as far as a comedy goes.
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
I think that's a fair score.
The rest of the internet isn't as nice about it as I was.
But nobody likes Adam Sandler past a certain period. You know what I mean? Like there's certain movies that he's beloved, and then people just start hating him. And I get it. Like he's made a lot of movies that I don't like, but he's also made a lot of great, like Punch Drunk Love, Hidden Gems.
This is 40 was a good movie. Go back and rewatch This Is 40. It's a good movie.
I feel like any actor that comes out of the Saturday Night Live universe is plagued with what I call the Saturday Night Live curse. I think throughout the generations, whatever cast of Saturday Night Live was on when you were like between the ages of 8 and 16, in your head will always be the greatest years of SNL, and every other years of SNL will suck after that. And I mean, because I talked to Zoomers, and these Zoomers are like, oh, the best SNL cast has been the last 5 years. And I'm like, no.
God, no.
No, it's not. And then you talk to millennials who are like, the best cast was, the mid-2000s when they had Chris Kattan, Will Ferrell, Molly Shannon. And I'm like, yeah, it was a decent cast. But for me, the greatest cast will always be Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, David Spade. And I appreciated everything that came before them. But for me, whatever happened in those pivotal years of
what you watched, really,
of what you're endeared to. So I think that curse follows the actors of that time period. You know what I mean? Like
we grew up.
When Adam Sandler broke away, we loved his shit, and then
Farley broke away. Everyone loved his shit.
Dude, Adams. I remember being a kid and mowing the grass or raking the leaves and listening to my cassette Walkman. Adam Sandler. They're all gonna laugh at you. That album still is funny to me, and it's not by today's standards funny, but at the time, the memories that it invokes, that sense of humor, it's so fucking funny, dude.
Was that the one with the shampoo bottle?
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so high right now from that weed you sold me.
Yeah, that was pencil shavings in a bag.
Oh, fuck, is that, man? Then it must be the acid you gave me. I'm so fucking out of my mind right now.
Yeah, that was just pieces of my notebook paper. I fucking hate you guys, man. I'm gonna go kill myself.
One of my favorite skits from that time period involving that cast was it's such a dumb skit. And I think they only did it once, maybe twice, was the Gap Girls, where it was Chris Farley.
Lay off me, I'm starving.
You know what though? They did it a couple times, but it's funny, like that period of SNL, they had a lot of sketches that you can't find anymore. Like they used to have a SNL app that it's gone now, but it used to be on the phone where you could literally go through every season. Everything's on Peacock. The app, you could literally go through every season, punch a cast member's face, and it would bring up every season, every episode, and it had everything. And then it disappeared when then the Peacock shit happened. But like Chris Farley, the episode he hosted of SNL, like you can't find a full copy of that because there's so many like great outtakes with nudity, accidental nudity and shit that like they've cut and they've erased from the internet.
Well, a lot of it is the new woke culture we live in. Like they've gone through and scrubbed everything that they deem to be offensive. Like there's some Dan Aykroyd stuff from the 70s that was hilarious. Yeah, that was hilarious. That's now cut. Like there's a reason I'll never give money to NBC and for the Peacock app is they do too much censoring and editing. HBO's kind of doing it too, to where if I didn't have HBO free as part of my cell phone plan, I would never pay for HBO.
I had a train of thought that I was going to follow up with you, and then I happened to look over as I was filling up my cup, and I'm like, I went on a tirade last night about trying to get away from fucking plastic, and here I am filling up my cup with a bottle of water. Yeah, they were free at work. I took them. Like, fuck off. I forgot.
Who cares about?
I like how he tells us to fuck off for a subject he brought up, and we added zero commentary to it.
Talking to myself.
Nothing. We literally sat there and stared at him as he was telling that story, and then he told us to fuck off.
I would love to hear Doug's internal monologue, except for every time I have a phone conversation with Doug, I'm literally listening to Doug's internal monologue.
Oh, you can do that. If you have Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Disney Plus, they made an offshoot show from Up that's called Doug.
Yeah.
And you can get a real good insight into his internal monologue by watching that show.
Oh, God damn it. It's the greatest show. It really is.
It really is a good show.
Truly. Honestly, Bob, that's your fucking homework assignment next time we do a podcast. And so for you, John. I know you have Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
John, I don't think has it, but like he's got to find a way. It's only 4 or 5 episodes, Paul?
Yeah, something like that. And they're short episodes. They're only like 15, 20
minutes. Yeah, they're like 10 to 15, 20 minutes. But, dude, I'll agree with Paul on that one. The same way I'll agree with everybody else that I was Jennifer Lawrence and Don't Look Up. Like, I am Doug the dog in that show, dude. It is, get away from that bird bath, birds. Oh, stupid birds. That bird bath is for you. I'm sorry, birds. Come back, birds. I fucking love that
Squirrel.
show. Yeah.
I don't know who I would be from Don't Look Up. Hey, Matt Ammons, are you still watching?
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Well, we haven't dropped viewership. We have 2 people watching right now.
All right, so I had a funny thought the other night. Somebody was talking during one of the episodes about. Oh, Doug was talking about his dick like usual, and so
2 hands, 2. Bob,
Can I be honest? My number one jealousy of my older brother my whole entire life was that he had a way bigger dick than me.
I want to hear from our viewership in order of most attractive to least attractive.
I don't. I really don't. I don't need to know that. Lie for me. When it comes to me, just lie.
Who are the most attractive and least attractive brothers?
On this show, on Brothers from Other Mothers.
John, for me.
No, I'm just
prettiest eyes.
Yes.
I don't care how it plays out. Like I said last night, I know I'm not the best.
I just think it would be funny.
I know, but I'm not the ugliest.
Well, I think that's where it came from. Paul just gets all the play. So
wait a minute. Now I want to know who you think's the ugliest.
I would probably say me.
Oh, I don't think that. So going back to
Matt's not answering. Matt, you better answer Uncle Bob.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know we were talking about this.
Matt, if you do answer this question, remember me and you share the same political affiliation. We're at war right now.
That's another Q drop.
Oh man.
Hold on a second.
I thought-
I feel much more than that. I feel much more myself now.
Okay.
I got a
It's like
t-shirt.
Big Daddy. If you put on the glasses, nobody can see you.
I got a t-shirt. I got a t-shirt that has 3 wolves howling at a moon in different poses. I'm gonna go put it
Dude,
on.
I want a 3 Wolf Moon shirt so fucking bad.
I think my daughter has one.
Yeah, because they're dope. That's why.
Whose glasses were those? Were those Buffs?
Yeah. I couldn't see anything the minute I looked at
Put them
them.
back on for a second. Just for a second.
I literally can't see anything.
Well, I don't care what you can see. Oh my God, Bruce Valanche bald.
You think you have a problem where your glasses sit off center, Doug? Did you that going on?
With him? What am I supposed to be doing? I don't
Matt,
know.
you're supposed to decide who the most attractive person
On the show is.
Brothers from Other
Rank
Mothers
us
between the core 4 of
you have to rank us.
Oh, who's most attractive? So if a cock,
Highest to least.
if a cock is a euphemism for a penis, wouldn't the cock on top of Matt's head make him technically a euphemism like a dickhead?
No.
I think that was what he was going for.
Is that what that? Well, I mean, that's where my brain went. I was looking at the chicken and I'm like, why do you
I
got
thought
chicken?
he was
When the
Yeah,
waitress
like-
said, "Do you want some pie?" How was I supposed to know that was a metaphor for sex?
I thought he was going for
Wait,
like
what?
a Jesus pose.
Three-way tie.
Three-way tie because y'all are gorgeous. Ooh, you're
Fair
supposed to
enough.
do the 4 of us, Matt. So who's sitting in dead last?
Yeah, so who's dead
John's,
last?
he clearly thinks John's better than us.
All right. So what we got in? Did we get into the JFK thing?
A little bit. We talked about the magic bullet.
Yeah, you bored the shit out of me at the beginning with it all. I'm kidding. The magic bullet and the bag deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I just the other part that I found completely nonsensical, like I told you on our phone conversation, was during the magic bullet theory. The bullet that went in through JFK's back. They tried to say that it came out when they were doing chest compressions, and it just worked its way back out his back. That was one of the arguments.
You know what? It really is interesting to watch a lot of that document footage and see how the world looked back then. Like how almost virtually all men or adult males at least wore suits and really nice hat like fedoras or some form of hat, and the way
morals and religion have gone way downhill in America. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but Americans usually shared a general standard of morals and religious aspects, if not believing in the same religion or an offshoot of that religion, of how you're supposed to live your life and how you're supposed to carry yourself in the world. And as the years have gone by and we've progressed as a society, you know, with the women's liberation, and I'm not saying anything negative about this stuff, so let me be clear, but like women's liberation, you know, everybody getting equal rights, which is a good thing. I'm not saying anything bad about that. Like, but as we progressed as a nation, that those moral ties and that ideological tie has separated to where that's not what we believe anymore. You can go to Walmart and see somebody in a 3-piece suit. You can also see somebody in a bikini and sweatpants and a whole sweater, like,
Or just pajamas.
the society. Which I'm not saying one way is good or one way is bad or anything indifferent, because I go to Walmart in my pajamas quite often. Well, I don't go to Walmart, but I go to the grocery store in my pajamas quite often.
Are you wearing thermal pants right now?
I've
Me?
got some on.
Yes.
Yes, it's 5 degrees out.
Yeah, it is really. Let me tell you, I went to the grocery store this morning. It is so cold that the inside of my nostril here, the skin inside started to split apart and bleed, and I've got like I can feel it all crunchy up now, and it's getting sore and it's that fucking cold.
Walmart and
So
moccasins.
clearly
Hey,
you can see the snow on our tree, how cold it is here.
I hate you.
So I mean, it's very cold.
I gotta tell you. Go ahead, Paul. You were gonna say something. I'm sorry.
I prefer the cold over the heat. Well, I don't mind heat. I hate humidity. Like, I'm okay with the dry heat, but a wet heat I fucking hate.
I liked it. I didn't like mowing the lawn. Like I remember when Bob and I lived together you and the ex like would take turns mowing the lawn because it was so hot and everybody would be sweating. I remember I started paying a guy to mow the lawn because I hated doing it so much.
When me and mom came down to move you out, and like I walked into the house and it was like 90 degrees and you had the heater on, I just looked at mom and I was like, I'm gonna be in the fucking car. I'm not staying in this house. Fuck that.
If you don't like humidity, if you don't like moisture with your heat, how do you do so well on Tinder?
What?
I'm curious as to know like what brave women like trek all the way out to the middle of nowhere with guys living in a trailer with 2 dogs and the it kills me. I love it. I have so many ideas. What did that say? I didn't even read it. I was too busy.
It says I like what you've done with your hair, Bob. Also, I'm heat over cold all day.
Me too. Me too.
I've only ever lived in the heat, so I can't comment.
I hate the cold so fucking much.
I liked it when I was
Not only
up.
do I like the cold, I like 4 seasons. I like a winter, spring, summer, and fall.
I like spring. I love summer up here. The fall is beautiful, and then the winter can suck a dick. I hate it.
I will admit, there comes a point in winter where you're like, spring needs to fucking get here already. It is April, and we still have 3 feet of snow on the fucking ground. This shit needs to end.
We talked. I'm glad we didn't, but we did talk about doing a podcast before Brothers from the Same Mother became like the offshoot thing, where we were going to do a podcast called Seasonal Depression, and it's like both of him and I like just started getting miserable around the same time, and I never really thought about it until I heard him say it and a few other people at work talk about it. I'm like, holy shit, it is a real thing. Like I fucking hate life during this time of year.
And for me, it lasts at that beginning to end of December time frame. Like I think it's a combination of seasonal depression on top of our family. Like anything bad that happens in our family always happens around the week of Christmas. I'm talking like if we named off like the last 6 deaths in our family, all of them at Christmas time. Hey, stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. But this Christmas wasn't all that bad. I mean, we had one little skirmish where we were late, and that got narrowly avoided in being a disaster argument. But overall, it was good.
We did have a death in the extended family this year.
Oh yeah,
and it was Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Our uncle, our Uncle Paul, he passed away on the 26th. Our grandfather passed away on January 1st. Our grandmother passed away December 4th. Our other 2 grandparents died at the end of November and in December. Like it's just this time of year.
That's when we're gonna die. That's when we're gonna die. You're gonna find me when we build our house and we get the studio and all that. One day, one day you're gonna go out to put the dogs out, and I'm gonna be out in the middle of the snow like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Just
well. Doug, me and you did get COVID at the end of November, the last week in November. And look at us. What do you say to the god of death?
Not today. Bob's not going to get that. And rightfully, and I don't really want to get that because I hate the last fucking season so much.
You don't know, but that's in the first season. That's in like the first season, episode 3 is where you first learned that.
I know, but that last season, the last season of that show, I hated so much that it turned me off from ever wanting to go back and watch any of the shit that I liked. I hated it.
Bandit saw Uncle Doug on the TV and he wanted to come up and say hello.
He's all blurry. I can't tell. It looks like the ghost of Bandit. Help! Dad! I'm in a 3rd dimension universe. You got to get me out of the Mirrorverse.
Hey, bud, you got to get down, okay?
What's he weigh now?
Last time I got them weighed was months ago, and he was 69 pounds, and she was 63 pounds. If I had to
69.
If I had to guess where he was at now, I'd probably say he's in the late 70s, and she's either in the late 60s or early 70s. He's got a good 10 pounds on her. And a fully grown golden is supposed to stop growing at 75 pounds, and this fucking asshole has not stopped growing, and they both still got 6 more months of growing left.
Yeah, they are not small dogs.
She's about average. She's about on par for average, but he's a monster.
Monster. Hey,
but he's the love bug, and she's the adventurous.
Johnny Burger.
Johnny fracking Burger.
Let's go out back and hit a few dingers.
He said it was a wedding gift that he got from Spencer's, but instead of the heart, it was all about hand jobs. Dude, Susan Sarandon's daughter is gorgeous, and Susan Sarandon is fucking gorgeous.
I may have
So
beautiful. Googled.
You can
Brandon nude a couple times here or there.
You can go on Google, and actually, after watching this movie, you can go on Google.
That's fair, man.
I like going to snow, not it coming to me. That's absolutely. I agree. I agree with that. You can actually go on Google, and you can find side by side pictures of both of them topless, and it's like looking at like the past and the present almost. It's pretty cool.
And this is how Doug starts becoming a producer at CNN.
Oh man, never gonna happen. Although it would make Dad proud.
Would it?
I don't. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how he feels about CNN these days. Honestly, I really don't. Like
He still watches it all day.
It's not something we ever talk about. I try not to. I try not to talk about it.
I will say I enjoy the fact that he respects that. Whenever we come over, he doesn't watch news the whole time.
Yeah, it's gotten better. Like Christmas. Actually, I like Christmas. He had up.
Everyone's breaking.
Okay.
All right, everything's clear now.
Okay.
Your internet. You've been skippy here and there, Bob.
Interesting.
Which is weird because you're supposed to have the best internet of all of us.
Yeah, I'm downstairs now though.
He's got the best video picture of us right now, I think, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, but he's been freezing and skippy. Not bad. I'm not saying.
Oh man,
anyway.
I wish it'd be cool if he could set up the blur effect on his background, like we got, and we could see
he's on a computer. He can.
The Christmas tree, all shit. That's all good, but it's cool.
Bob's gonna get a computer soon, though. I can feel it.
So,
I'm thinking about it.
Is there any other topics? Because I if not, I'm going to pull up some clips if you guys want to react to some fun stuff. Or we can't do that anymore now, can we? Because of the copyright and the monetization.
I mean, we can do it. I'm just going to have to edit it and take it out.
What if it's just comedy stuff that's freely available?
Here's how it works. If it's free use and we talk over it as we're listening to it, and we give transformative commentary, we should be okay.
Okay. You guys want to watch a 23-minute clip that convinced me that Patton Oswalt did
No.
No.
I'm kidding.
Absolutely not.
What you guys want to talk about?
By the way, I would like the fact that Doug put out that clip this morning about Patton Oswalt, and I would just like to say it's confirmed my thought, my feelings on that whole situation perfectly.
I have not watched it.
I'll tell you what. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm saying if you're somebody who has a creative imagination, this is what I was thinking about this morning because this is something I listened to while making breakfast, and it got me thinking. Like, if I was a kid where I still had my imagination and that childlike mentality where like I could create shit out of nowhere, like write stories and stuff, like the way he described his theory on Patton on what happened, I'm like, holy shit! Like, this isn't an implausible thing that could have happened. Like, I don't want it to be. But I can also see from a different, like if you're a private investigator and you got to follow where the clues lead you, it's kind of like that. I'm like, holy shit! Like,
here's the thing. His theory was based on the facts of the situation. His wife died of an overdose. He gave her the medication. I'm not saying he did it intentionally or it was an accident. I don't know. But he's the one who provided her with the medication. She overdosed and died. Conveniently, he had a girlfriend on the side. Conveniently, his wife just finished writing a book that was almost done, which he finished, and it sold for multi-millions of dollars that he was the beneficiary of. And less than 4 months later, he married his side girlfriend. I'm just saying, there's a lot of convenient facts to this story.
Hey, until like I said, until this morning, like
maybe they'd known each other for years and weren't actually dating until after she died.
Yep, and cultivated a relationship so strong enough that you're over the bereavement of your wife and you get remarried less than a half a year later.
It's very possible.
Very possible. Very possible. Correct. Very possible. Now, if we want to come into the step into reality and what's more plausible.
Doug, what's on your hat?
Punisher symbol?
Yeah,
So,
I know Marvel changed it to something stupid now. Or
it's an offshoot for right now when he's like a fucking ninja.
Yeah, it's like the gay Superman thing, right? Where it's like Superman's kid's gay, like this new stupid Punisher. It's like his second dimension,
I'm not.
third multiverse.
I'm not gonna say stupid, and I'm not. I'm trying not to shit on it. I guess it's just because I'm a cranky old son of a bitch now, and I don't want things to change. And I'm getting to the point where I can acknowledge that. But like, I can also acknowledge that like Spider-Man, the 2099 comic book series when those came out, I thought they were dog shit, and to a degree they still are. But there's some good stories in those. But I think the character is going to be dog shit personally. But like, it all depends on the writer, whoever writes it. I mean, a good story is a good story, but like, why bother? We lost Bob.
Hey Matt, if you're still watching, don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already.
Ooh, I got a clip I want to pull up.
He left studio. Once he's here, he's back.
Okay.
That was weird.
It's not an hour.
No, it's Reddit.
You dropped at 40 minutes and 30 some seconds. I think there's something wrong with your internet. I truly do.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't reset it right now.
That's fine.
But
I mean, you're coming in clear. We can hear you. You can see you clear.
But when we get done, I'm gonna finish Dexter and then see how I feel.
I'm gonna probably watch That's My Boy now.
I've had several people online say it was worse than the original ending to Dexter.
What this series?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. I finished it this morning. I'm gonna say this. This particular show didn't make up. It's exactly what the creator said. It didn't make up for the ending, but it fixed it. It gave it a proper, for me personally, I saw it as a proper ending. I don't know why people would hate this. Although, like, there's a lot of reboots I don't really like. I disagree with. I think are stupid and they all follow a pattern. I don't think this did. You could say it followed a pattern in the sense that like, oh, this time he's got a kid, but like I thought what they did with it was a little bit creative and it gave it a finite ending to it. But you know what? I also like a lot of shit by comparison to what people tell me. So who am I to take advice from? You know what I mean?
I'll find out soon.
I loved it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was fantastic. I love him as an actor. I don't know. I'll let me know what you think.
Yeah, I've only watched like one episode of 6 Feet Under so far. So
what'd you think of that?
Couldn't get into it.
So far, it's very slow to start. We'll see how it goes from there.
It's a slow burn of a show. Yeah, it really is. But it's not a bad show. It's for particular people. It's like Big Love. If you've never seen Big Love on HBO, like there was when I got HBO Max, not HBO Max.
Big Love.
I do. I love it. When HBO Go became a thing, I had gotten access to it, and I remember just starting to watch shows that everybody told me to watch. I got into The Wire that way. I watched the Oz, although I didn't really get into Oz. And then I saw Big Love by chance, and I saw who was in the cast. And this was at a time when like Kevin Smith was doing all the podcasts were just really taking off. Smodcastle was a thing. And so like a lot of that stuff was him. Red State, the process of making Red State.
Who's talking about podcasts now, Bob?
It made people, what I'm getting to a point, asshole. It made what they were talking about on those shows made me excited for movies, like the way it ignited a passion for cinema again. Now you fucking lost my train of thought, you asshole. But that was one of the things was Big Love because the cast. They had such a phenomenal cast, and it's a show that is from beginning to end fantastic. Paul, I hope you fucking shit your pants today.
I'll tell you the show that everybody tells me that I need to watch, and I tried watching it. Like I actually watched the first 2 seasons, and I was just like, I'm done with it. I think it's Weeds, the one with the mom who's
Love Weeds. Love Weeds.
I pushed myself through that, and that was like where I started deciding like. If I don't enjoy a show in the first 2 episodes, I'll just jettison it.
Like, I love Weeds.
I can't keep giving my time to shit that really doesn't interest me or I don't find entertaining. I'm not talking shit if you do find it entertaining. I get it.
I love Weeds because of the not just the subject matter, but I really genuinely love the cast. I think Kevin Nealon shines through that show. And I think I will acknowledge that I don't think it's a show that would ever really gain any footing today because nobody really looks at weed the way they looked at weed when that show was made. Like the fact that the FBI was raiding over fucking residential houses doing infrared to find grow ops, like that was some crazy fucking times to live through. But people, by comparison, now are like that. Why the fuck would they do that?
Yeah, but they did.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm gonna go watch that, and then I gotta watch football today. So that's my plan for the rest of the day. It's my team's last game of the regular season.
You know, being as this was the year I got back into baseball, I really, really tried to make an effort to get back into football, and I just don't care. Like, just don't. And I used to love football. Used to be my favorite sport, and I would never miss a Packer game. Now it's like, just let me know what the scores are, and I can move on with my life.
Yeah, I don't care about baseball.
I like the
thing I like about baseball is it's on every single day, and it's something you can throw up in the background and like still do other shit. You know what I mean?
When it comes to football, I love the league as a show, and when it comes to baseball, I love the Sandlot. Yeah, there was a guy at the grocery store this morning. I was getting ready. I was waiting in line, and he didn't see me around the corner. He was an old guy, and he only had a few things. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Were you waiting?" I'm like, "God, go ahead. It's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. I've got nothing but time." And he's like, "Well, me neither, except for the Packer game. You know what I mean?" And I'm like, I fucking don't, man. I really don't. Like, he was looking for a conversation from a guy that just had none to give him on the topic of fucking football.
And you were like, "Go Favre."
I'm like, dude, I ate 20 milligrams of gummies about an hour ago that are kicking in. Like, come on, I just want to get my shit and go.
I can remember, like, when we had season tickets, like, I never understood why Doug went to games because he didn't like football. And like,
hot dogs.
The only thing I can remember about Doug going to Packer games when we had 2 season tickets when we were in our family growing up, and I can remember the only highlight of Doug going to a game was he went to the Christmas game. And it was because he was a big like NWA fan, and they all wore Raiders gear. So Doug wanted to go to the Raiders game on Christmas, and it was like -40.
You have no idea how growing up at that time frame. Well, you probably you do have an idea, but when I was in school in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, particularly, and 9th grade, everything that was when like I started noticing everything was about status. If you didn't have cool shit, you were a fucking loser, and that's where you were in the social circle at school. And our mom worked at Kmart, like in the eatery, so a lot of our clothes were fucking Kmart clothes. And if you were a kid where we grew up, you were a fucking loser if you wore Kmart clothes. You got made fun of. And
I never cared about that.
And see, all I wanted was acceptance because I didn't have athletic ability. I clearly don't know how to fucking talk. So like, I just wanted to like fit in somehow. And they would play basketball every morning before school for like the first hour before school started. A bunch of kids would be playing on the courts, and everyone, the thing was like starter jackets and the Fleer and the Fleet and all that shit. And it was, I'll admit it, fucking NWA, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, they all fucking rocked Raiders gear. And I told Mom, I'm like, I got to get the fucking starter jackets. I got to get a Raider starter jacket. I got to get the black beanie, the black and silver beanie. Like, that was the only reason I wanted to go see him, and it was the dumbest reason to go because it was the coldest fucking day of the year.
Now, did you ever think like about the geography of the situation as to why those people liked the Raiders?
What do you mean the geography? Like
Compton, Dre, NWA, Cube. Compton sits right next to Oakland, which is where the Raiders were from at that time.
My curiosity was how does a team based out of Southwest California, like where it never has rain or snow, why does their team create extreme cold weather gear?
They all do.
Yeah,
no, I know.
I should be clear though. This was before. For me, this was after Oakland. This was the Los Angeles Raiders.
They were Los Angeles at the time.
Yeah.
Well, even then, though, I mean, at that point, Dre and them lived in L.A.
But hey, I'm 41. To this day, my brain doesn't put that shit together. As a kid, I could tell you exactly the era of all of this that we're talking about. The person I was a 6th grade kid who was learning how to type properly on a keyboard in class, learning how to animate shit on an Apple Mac II.
FJKL.
Yep. And I loved a handful of things. I loved NWA, Eazy-E, gangster rap. I loved Adam Sandler albums. I loved the Jerky Boys. I loved Ugly Kid Joe, Aerosmith's Get a Grip, like everything that was fashionably cool right off the bat from MTV. Dude, fucking MTV. Anything Beavis and Butthead, most of the music I listened to came from Beavis and Butthead, making fun of the music.
Mike Judge has got a new Beavis and Butthead movie coming out.
It was supposed to be a TV series before the pandemic with Comedy Central, and then it became a movie now.
It's going to be on Paramount.
It was 1993. That was that game, and the Packers beat the Los Angeles Raiders 28-0.
I remember really loving. We had a comic book store had just opened up by our school that Paul and I went to called Powerhouse Comics that had like Street Fighter 2 arcade, and they had I want to say like a pinball machine of some kind, and I really got into comics through that way, and it was. I'm sorry, I had no idea where I was going. That fell into a pothole. Continue. Fucking it was that time frame though. Like everything I loved at that time was just comic books, stupid prank calls, and shit like that. So like geography never played into it. Like clearly, I don't know about football. You know, for me, it was just about like looking cool, feeling cool. And I remember at that time having a creative brain. I would write fucking stories. There was like a newspaper for kids in middle school that you could submit stories to and get them printed, and we could pass around the school. And dude, I would write some crazy shit, and it would all involve like things I loved. Like it would be. I wrote a script that was Adam Sandler hanging out with Johnny Brennan from the Jerky Boys, and then somehow they ended up having like a buddy cop comedy for an hour and a half with NWA and Onyx and Naughty by Nature, like everything cool that I was watching. Like I was watching a lot of Yo MTV Raps at the time as well. So like there was a lot of cross pollinations of shit that I was really into, dude. Like,
so you're a big Ed Lover fan.
I love the movie. God damn it, huh?
Orderlies.
No, you're thinking of the Fat Boys. That's Disorder.
Fat Boys, yeah,
which is also a very funny movie. No, Who's the Man is a movie with Ed Lover and Dr. Dre. That is one. It's also got Dennis Leary. Dennis Leary plays their police chief, and it's one of the only things I like Dennis Leary in. Paul knows I hate.
I strongly disagree with you.
I know you do. You love him. I hate him. I'm not a fan of him, but I love him in that movie. And it's a movie on conjunction with what I'm talking about, like how I wrote a script involving everything that I loved. Like Who's the Man is literally a movie with everybody I loved. It was a movie with two guys who got me into shit on MTV, and it had like members of Cypress Hill showed up, members of Naughty by Nature showed up. I think LL Cool J shows up. Like all these people that I loved had bit parts, and it was just a mashup kind of movie. I fucking love that kind of stuff. I miss the 90s. 90s were awesome.
Parts of it were.
Yeah. When you were, well, I only attached myself to like the fun shit. Like I never really got invested in like all the important stuff. I remember exactly where I was when OJ, when the verdict was handed down. And I remember kids in the classroom. We were allowed to watch it on TV. It was one of the few times, I think 9/11 might have been the last time I remember that kind of stuff being shown to kids in the classroom on the television. But yeah, I remember the OJ verdict being handed down and like literally watching kids in the classroom split apart, kind of like how we split apart now. Like, no, fuck that. They're letting a murder. Like I watched it happen in front of me. It was really bizarre because I didn't really understand the context of it because I was like in 6th or 7th grade. You know, like my brain didn't understand what the fuck was happening. I just knew I liked the guy from the Naked Gun movies that they always threw down fucking stairs.
That's fair.
I am what I am. I am a dim-witted fucking stoner, man.
When I think of OJ, I think of Patton Oswalt.
I never would have. I gotta say, until this morning, I honestly, you and I've had this discussion, and I just always thought you were talking out your ass. And then for whatever reason, like just listen to that in the background, and it picked up, and I'm like, holy fuck! Like he's making actually really good connections.
Really, when I read the facts of the story, like the years ago when it happened, I'm like, something doesn't seem right here. And then like it's a nothingness in my life because I've never been a big as you know, I've never been a big Patton Oswalt fan. I'm not a huge fan of his comedy.
I love
when we brought it up and I mentioned that to John and he flipped the fuck out. It just become kind of thing I love to bring up every now and then just to get to John.
That's how I know the algorithm's working because I literally got done doing the podcast last night, and I know we talked about Patton and Dave Chappelle, and I went to go bring up YouTube, and like that was literally the first thing in my YouTube feed this morning was like, hold on, let me bring up the title of it. It's such a ridiculous title. Where the hell is it?
It disappeared.
Did Patton Oswalt murder his wife? That's the title of the video that popped up in my feed this morning. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That is so weird. And that's why the only reason I clicked on it. And I'm like, it just, I don't know. It was one of those things, man. It became gripping to an extent.
All I can say is we can look forward to 30 years from now when Patton Oswalt has his Twitter account and everything opens up with a video that says, hello, Twitter world.
Oh, wow. I don't want to be like,
I'm calling it.
Don't get me wrong. There are some things like that I thought were kind of ridiculous about the video, not in terms of like the way the facts were presented, but like Gavin McInnes, I don't generally dislike as a person. I don't have any ill will towards anybody really, but like I just, maybe it's just not my sense of humor. Some of the jokes that they make during the thought part, like I just want to hear like the presentation of the facts. I don't need to hear the dumb jokes. Some of that shit just, I don't give a fuck for. But overall, the fucking points he was making, like I said, like kept me in it, man. Like, it was bananas. I still don't know if I believe it, but I'm like, holy fuck. Like now there's definitely doubt. Like if you were trying to prove reasonable doubt, there you go, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got nothing else.
I'll watch it today.
We're sitting at about an hour.
Okay.
So we want to call it?
Yeah, we'll call it. I'm going to go watch Dexter and then...
Now, just a few housekeeping things. Doug, we are now going to a monthly schedule, correct?
Well, it really doesn't matter to me. I will do anything whenever with anybody, but I do know for a fact that next Sunday at noon, the same time like we did today, it's going to be the four of us. I do know that.
Okay, so we are doing an episode next week.
Next weekend.
And we'll be supplementing content on Saturdays with the brothers from the same mothers.
I believe the first
That'll
episode
be weekly.
Yeah, it'll be weekly. I believe we can do that Saturday nights. I believe the first episode we did of season 2, John. It's probably not recorded. I think we did it afterwards, after we ended the live feed where we did show business. But John was the one that said, like, let's do it again on the 16th. And then it was right then and there that like I put it into my phone calendar for everyone.
And Bob, can you go ahead and plug the Twitter account?
Yes, it's other Brothers from Other Mothers Pod on Twitter.
Can we bring that up on the screen? We should have that.
Could you just send me the link in a text message, and I'll throw it in the description of the video?
Be cool to have like a Twitter logo pop up on the screen with a Getter logo.
And Facebook, we'll do the same thing with Facebook. I'll get a hold of John. So if anybody wants to reach out to us on social media, we'll have it down there.
And I am also going to be working on. I'm sorry, Paul. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And our email is brosfromo
@gmail.com. Throw it up on the screen. Throw it on the screen, man.
I can't throw it on the screen.
You throw up YouTube comments? All right, hold on a second. I'll throw up a YouTube comment with our email address. You can throw it on the screen. Hold on.
There you go.
I'm using my brain.
Do that with the Twitter, Bob. I can do that.
Oh, excuse me.
I just sent it to you in a text, Paul.
You couldn't type it out where I could just copy and paste. You had to make an image. Can you please type it out, man?
Yeah, Bob. Bob's dying, man.
Forget it, Bob. I'm typing it out.
I'm typing it out too.
God damn it, Bob!
Just stop.
You piece of shit, Bob. I'm glad my brother. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. Are you in a living room?
Me? I'm in one of the living rooms. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the. This is like where my mom sits and chills.
There's our Twitter handle.
That's
no. There's
not it.
There's an S, dude. Not brother.
Let me take that down. That's not. Maybe if somebody would have fucking just copied and pasted and sent it to me.
I'm working on a phone here.
Get a fucking computer, Bob.
I'm sorry, Captain Riches.
I want a PS5, and I also want to get the PSVR 2 now.
Yeah, I'm not Captain Riches. I'm using the same computer I bought 8 years ago.
I want a PS5, and I also want to get the PSVR. Who's
I don't know. I can hear
it's
you.
Me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you can't copy and paste into fucking chat. That's so gay.
I did.
Not on your phone, you can't. Okay, how did I screw this up? And Doug, you did not post in chat yet.
Yes, I did.
It's not in chat.
It's in the YouTube chat. It's the first one above Bob's for the brothers, the Twitter one. And Bob typed it out wrong on the Twitter page. I'll put it in again. Yeah, I'll put it in again. I'll put it in again, Paul.
Are you talking about in group chat or in the YouTube comments?
In the YouTube comments.
It's not there. I'm telling you, it's not like I'm not trying.
I'm telling you, I'm rewriting it right. I'm rewriting it right now, Paul. But it's.
Do you see it in there? That's why
I do see it in there. I'll send you a screenshot of it. This has got to be entertaining for people watching us live right now.
I think this is really funny.
Fuck off.
I mean, this is.
That's not right. I don't care.
What's right? What?
Me retyping it because I can't copy and paste from my cell phone computer. Is that right?
Nope.
No. It's brothers, not
That's
brother.
what I typed.
It keeps putting brother.
It.
Brothers from.
There we
Yeah.
go. There we go.
That's it. That is our Twitter.
That's our Twitter handle. Doug, yours is not in chat. I don't see it on the live stream. Or
I
don't see
put it. I put it in private chat, and I put
you
it.
stop
on
putting it in
YouTube.
private chat. Put it
Paul,
on YouTube.
would you shut the fuck up and listen? I put it. God damn it! I said it twice on YouTube and once in private chat. I said it to both. I sent you a screenshot. You're making me think I'm going crazy right now.
Hey, everybody.
Well, then you must have your comments on like your YouTube setting on private.
I have no idea how to do that. How do you undo that? No, I'm asking you how to undo that.
I don't know, but I can tell you that your comments are not showing up in the chat.
BROSFROMO
I
at
just copied and pasted it from the private.
gmail.com.
There, it's on the screen.
Oh man, you guys have a great day. Doug, have an
Merry
edible.
Merry
Paul,
Christmas. I'm good. Oh, I'm totally good. We're fine.
Paul is gonna go play in his undies with the dogs.
I'm gonna do some chores.
I'm gonna watch something.
Yeah, I'm doing Dexter. That's it for me.
I kind of want to watch That's My Boy again. I also want to watch Popstar again.
That's probably what I'm gonna watch. Is That's My Boy.
All right. Well, let me know if you guys laughed as hard as I did because I laughed a lot last night. So,
Dude, that's a movie that comes out of nowhere, man. It really is.
I did not expect to enjoy it, and I laughed quite a bit. So
The old lady letting him jerk off to her.
Oh. If he's so under the weather, he probably shouldn't masturbate so much.
This so
All right.
right.
Everybody,
Later,
thanks
guys.
for watching.
Later.
Me and Doug will see you next Saturday, and I guess next Sunday we're going to be back on with all four for Brothers from Other Mothers. So we'll see you then. Have a great
All right.
week.
Have a good one, guys.